This is a memorial to my great-grandmother, Sarah. Although she never talked about it, she was a Holocaust survivor. When I was 7 years old, she lived with my family for a year. When I would come home from school, she would tell me stories if she felt well enough. 3 years ago, great-grandmother died and her house was sold. Last year, while doing work on the home, the new owner found a VHS tape. On it was black and white footage of Grandma and her experiences as a Jew in Nazi Germany. She was helping a neighbor's son with an oral history project. My family and I watched the tapes, and it dawned on me that all the stories that she was telling me were life lessons that she learned and wanted to pass on. Her spirit inspires me. From the darkest moments in history, she taught me lessons. I was 7 going on 8 when Sarah lived with us. I was playing on a soccer team, boys and girls. She asked me if there was any child picked on or shunned. There was. A boy named Jacob. Grandma asked me to make friends with that boy and show him some kindness, and we're still friends till this day, and he's popular. She also told me to play with all my heart, not only to win, but just to have the experience, to be thankful I could play. I had a best friend. We were 13. She was a Nazi and I was a Jew. Nothing was thought of it. In 1933, everything changed. She was no longer able to talk to me. It's not that they hated us, just they can get in trouble for talking to us. That same year, I got a letter from my soccer club saying I was no longer welcome. Sports were my life and refuge. Gone. Great-grandmother used to make me read the strangest things. She'd make me read the phone book. We would look up Jewish names and I would read them. Levy, Levinson, Levis, Hirsch, Hervel, and Herzl. I would always ask her, Grandma, can't we read a real book? And she'd say, that's baby stuff. See Spot run, see Jane walk, that's baby stuff. In 1937, I knew it was serious. My father came home and was no longer able to work. We had very little money. One day, my brother Saul came home with a really thick book. I've never seen such a thick book. It was a New York City phone book. We knew the only way to get out of Poland was to have a relative in another country sign papers for us. Every night, we'd choose Jewish names out of the phone book. We spent much of our last money on postage. We never got any luck. I can remember my mother always telling us I'd move anywhere if I could, even the jungle. But there was no place for us. My great-grandmother at dinner time would always tell me to eat, be grateful for the food that you have. In 1940, our family was relocated to Lodz ghetto. Our family of 4 had 2 rooms, and I thought this wasn't so bad. In 1 week, a family of 6 moved in with us. 10 people in 2 rooms. We had no food. 1 ration of hard bread every day with some oil. My mother had a small scale, and she would cut the pieces into 4. I always ate mine too fast and was always hungry. I can still picture my mother with the scale. One day the Germans came and emptied the ghetto. We were loaded on railroad cars, and people who resisted got shot. Our family managed to stay together until we got to that place. Great-grandma told me 2 specific things. To love and cherish your family because they are your center. And she told me to love learning because knowledge is power. It could really get you out of a tight spot someday. We were separated at the gate, old and young, then male and female. I think my parents went to the oven right away. My father was sick and my mother was weak. My brother Saul, who had been my partner and my best friend since I was a little kid, were on the other side of a chain link fence. Our eyes met, and I reached my finger to touch his. Whack! The female couple cracked my knuckle with a stick. That was the last time I saw or touched my brother. After the war, my husband and I opened a dry cleaning business. We had 5 stores in just a few years. We were doing quite well. I hired an investigator to find my brother or to find out what happened to him. It cost $10,000. That was a fortune then. I found out that he died of typhus in the early 1945. Even to this day, I think of him. I survived in the camp because I had a gift for languages. I spoke Russian, German, Yiddish, and English. The German guards knew that they were losing the war and wanted to learn English. I was mistreated but kept alive. Once election, I had a boil on my shoulder. I have seen other girls go for less. When I ran before the doctor naked, the doctor glanced at my capo and pointed me to life. My knowledge of languages kept me alive. Liberation came and I felt empty. I went in with a family and came out alone. I will never forget the inhumanity man is capable of, but I have hope for the future. Great grandma, I carry you with me every day, and your lessons make me have hope for the future.